What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity. I hope you guys are doing well. Now, I think we can all agree that the hype train for MW3 has just gotten started. It has a lot of momentum already, and people are getting pretty excited for this game. I think there's going to be a lot of momentum as this game reaches to its beta phase when it's the first time any of us have a chance to play it. With that being said, though, I do feel that all of this hype, all of this excitement, all of the good news is overshadowing some core issues that Call of Duty has been plagued with over the last several years. And I want to touch on them here in this video and sort of get your sense of it and see if this is a make or break situation for you, the player, and the community. Because, well, yes, it is very easy to get excited about what we've heard regarding MW3. I still think we have to be skeptical because there's a lot of situations where it's not the gameplay necessarily that's the biggest problem for Call of Duty as of late. It's other factors that influence the gameplay and influence the quality of life of the game. So let's get right into it. And the first topic I want to touch on is cheaters in Call of Duty, and this has been a growing problem, especially with Warzone being a free-to-play game. You know, you can cheat as much as you want, get caught, and then just recycle a new profile because the game is free. It's not as prevalent in multiplayer, but cheaters still do exist, and they will continue to exist, and it's been a problem that has plagued Call of Duty ever since COD 4. And I'd really like to see Sledgehammer Games, Activision, take a real stand this year and put a lot of preventative measures in to ensure that cheating's just not one of those things that they'll allow anymore. You know, there was reports that there were a bunch of cheaters in Warzone Ranked just a couple days ago. Like, we need to get a hold of this cheater problem from the get-go. We need to have an ecosystem that is very anti-cheater, that is able to weed them out right away. And yes, I have a problem with false reports. Yes, I have a problem with people who just have a really strong game or then labeled a cheater. But this is the natural progression of all this. When you have so many cheaters running rampant in a community, it's very easy for you to just blanketly say that, oh, this person killed me because they're a cheater, even though that they're probably a legitimate player. So it's up to Activision, it's up to Sledgehammer Games to really put forth a strong anti-cheat system, really strengthen Ricochet, because this is their baby. Like, they're going to live and die by this. And if cheaters are running rampant, if cheaters ruin the quality of life that the game has, well, players aren't going to play it. They're going to be pushed away from it right away. And it's one of those elephants in the room that a lot of Call of Duty players don't want to address, but we need to talk about it. We need to ensure that this is top priority for Sledgehammer Games and Activision, because this could make or break their game. You know, if there's a bunch of cheaters, people just aren't going to play it. That was a huge issue with older Call of Duty games for a really long time, is that you could only really play modded lobbies or lobbies that were riddled with cheaters, and that wasn't fun for anybody. And now that those lobbies seem to have less and less cheaters, more legitimate players, it's a lot more fun to play those other Call of Duty games. So the same applies to MW3 here, where we need to ensure that it's a safe matchmaking experience for everybody. I don't want to be playing against cheaters. I don't want to be playing against people who have an unfair advantage because they live in their parents' basement and have no life except to somehow be proud that they cheated to win. It's such a weird concept to me, the whole cheating thing in Call of Duty, cheating in video games in general. It's just really, really weird. But either way, it's something that I want to see Call of Duty take a huge stand on. I mean, they have the financial prowess to ensure that they are the leaders in anti-cheat, and I'd really like to see them take a step forward in that regard. The next area that needs to be addressed, and I touched on this recently in a video as well, I think it was yesterday, where I talked about skill-based matchmaking, and it really needs to be a topic of conversation here. Yes, I am all for giving new players a fair experience at the start, an experience where they can learn and adapt and grow within the game. But when you have players that have been playing the game for 10, 15 years, it seems very weird that we are forced to play within a small subset of players. You're forced to play players around your skill level. No one higher, no one lower. Every game's going to be a time limit or score limit kind of game, and it just feels really weird. It feels as if you're competing every single time you hop into the game, and that's very odd. I'm not sure why Call of Duty decided to go this route. for some reason they feel it retains players longer, but I think it has the negative effect, the opposite effect. I think it pushes more middle of the road casual players away from the game because they just simply don't want to have to always use the meta. They don't want to always have to sweat. They don't want to always have to, play as hard as they possibly can. Sometimes they just want to, put on a meme class and have a good time. And you just can't really do that in modern Call of Duty games because people are playing like it's the final day at COD Champs, and it's really, really odd. So I'd like to see them ease off the skill-based matchmaking, and if they're able to do that, I think collectively as a community, we would stop using the meta all the time. We'd stop trying our butts off every single game. I'm sure there'd still be players here and there that would do it, but for the most part, you'd have people running less meta setups. They'd be having a little bit more fun. They'd be goofing around, and it would actually grow the community a little bit more. And obviously, would hopefully also get rid of disbanding lobbies, which would increase the fun for everybody across the board and reduce matchmaking wait times, which is also another plus. The issue is, though, is it has felt as if skill-based matchmaking is Call of Duty's little baby, and they want to continue to nurture that thing and grow it and allow it to exist within their game for whatever reason, even though they have a social game mode and a ranked game mode. And it almost feels as if the ranked game mode is easier to play than social sometimes because people abuse the meta in social and there's not restrictions in social, so it makes ranked seem more fair. I don't know how that happens, but that's the truth of it. That's been my experience as of late in Call of Duty. So I would really like to see some growth or some change or some evolution in the SBMM system so it doesn't have to be such a thorn in the side of so many players within this community. It can be something that exists. I'm not trying to abolish SBMM by any means. I understand why it exists, but I'd like to see the parameters less restrictive and actually a little bit more open so you can have more variety in your games so that it allows the community to be a little bit more creative with how they play the game. And I think it would just increase the health of this community and increase the quality of life of the game across the board. But that's kind of the way that I look at this. I want to know more from you guys. The last thing I want to touch on is game modes. We haven't really heard much about how multiplayer is going to work with game modes, but I think it's extremely important that Call of Duty explores different avenues like double XP events, double XP game modes, party game modes, limited time game modes, event specific game modes. These types of modes where it can be more so an experience for the community to share together than just something that is the typical team deathmatch or the dominations or the search and destroys, right? It could be something that's short-lived but is allowing you to have rewards, allowing you to gain something for playing it, an incentive. Something that I haven't really seen Call of Duty do too much of as of late. But they did this with Modern Warfare Remastered. They always brought in a playlist every weekend. It was double XP, and it was always something different, whether it was snipers only, or Michael Myers, or prop hunt. And eventually these modes became staples within the game. And I'd like to see a similar situation happen in Modern Warfare 3, and I think it would only be to the benefit of the game. So, in summary, the goal of this video is just to talk about little elephants in the room that I'd like to see Modern Warfare 3 really address early on. So cheaters right out the gate, I'd love to see Activision and Sledgehammer Games be trailblazers with their Ricochet anti-cheat system and ensure a safe place for players to play without having to worry about cheaters. I'd love to see them grow and evolve with the SBMM system and not be so restrictive with it. And lastly, I'd like to see game modes that promote community as well as rewards and incentives. And I think those three things coupled together will just help this game be as healthy as possible for this community and help it be a very good Call of Duty game. Because like I've said from the beginning, I don't wish Modern Warfare 3 to be a bad game. I want it to be a good game. But I think it needs to take necessary steps forward to ensure that it is as good of a game as it possibly can be. But that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. What other elephants in the room, what other aspects of Modern Warfare 3 need to be nailed to ensure that we have the best Call of Duty game possible? Let me know with a comment down below. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.